So I picked this up at the local thrift store, and I'm going to take it apart so you can see what's inside and hopefully put it back together. I paid a whole $1 for this. These are still available, and in a moment I'll show you what prices I found on the internet. It's called a HoMedic. It's a white noise kind of generator, and this one does work. And this is neat because some people have a hard time sleeping without some white noise in the background, maybe to cut out the sound of dripping water and stuff. But here's the different sounds that this one has. Thunder. Not sure if that's going to help you sleep. Ocean, if you like the sound of running water. Actually, that's not too bad for the sound of a brook. Okay, next one is Summer Night. The crickets are taking over. They should have an option for frogs because we have those in our area. Okay, rain. We get enough of that out here on the wet west coast. And white noise. Currently what I use instead of something like this is an air filter which just sets up a background noise to cut out the sound of dripping water some nights. And here's the volume. I'm going to change it to ocean. I like that one. And brook. So what you have here is you can just turn it on. Set it for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or 60 minutes, at which point it then turns off. Now, this one has a power adapter, which means for $1 I got a power adapter, so I can't lose on this. I'm just gonna, there we go. And it can also run on batteries. So 4 of them. So I entered in the image and it pulled it up right away. This image search is pretty handy. Even good for some electronic components. So Canadian Tire, I think they were, okay, Amazon, whoops, sorry, $23. Canadian Tire, I believe, was $27. And Walmart, $25 Canadian. So these are still readily available. And as I said earlier, I think these are actually very nice because they give you that sound in the background to drown out things like dripping water. Okay, back to the other stuff. And continuing along, let's take it apart. It looks like it's lost 3 of its 4 feet, but it does have 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, none in there. So let's just go after these ones. I'll probably zoom out in a moment. But yeah, $1, that's not too bad. I'm not expecting a lot inside this. I'll be amazed if there's more than just a blob chip. And I will hopefully be doing this without any destructive tendencies because I kind of like this thing. I don't want to destroy it. Now, how do I get into it without using a hammer? Okay, let's see all this. Oh, okay. You can see in here. Good. And Okay, I've unplugged it. Good. Thought I was about to do a no-no. Okay, we have a speaker. We have a blob chip. I'll zoom down on this in a moment, but I just want to take a quick look. Okay, this is going to be pretty straightforward. Here we have the contacts for the switches, which means I won't be doing any damage to this thing, hopefully. Let me just undo this one screw here. Oh, there's another one there. Getting into that area where my focal distance is lousy. Okay. So, okay, try not to break any wires. On this side, we've got the push button, the 3 LEDs for the timing. The people actually that previously had this part here taped over on the outside, probably just to get rid of that little light. We've got one capacitor on this side, 220 microfarad, 16 volt, and the switch here, oh, that's pretty simple. Let me bring it up. There we go. So there's the switch. Now let's take a look at the chips. Okay, I'm going to adjust the lighting, etc. What I'm going to do is insert the spec sheet on each of the components that I can identify. This here is a SS14. And here's the specs for the SS14. It's a Schottky rectifier diode. And let's see. Here we go. Peak repetitive reverse voltage, 40 volts. And it can carry 1 amp. I'm not sure if it's this brand though, but yeah, the specs are all pretty well the same. This is an M1 diode. Ditto here. So the M1 is just a standard recovery surface mount device rectifier diode. Nothing special. 1 amp. And let's see, M1 is for 50 volts repetitive peak reverse voltage. And there's some specs. Don't know if it's this one either, so. This part here is an HT7130-1. So the HT7130-1 is a 30 milliamp voltage regulator. There it is, 3 volts, 3% tolerance, plus or minus. There's a block diagram of it. It's the SOT-89 package. What else they got to say about it? Okay, you input 5 volts, get roughly 10 milliamps out condition, for this test at least, and you got 3 volts, maximum 3.09 volts. Not bad. Nope, that's for a different one. That's a different one. Okay, just a spec sheet. On to the next. This part in here is a TDA 2822. So this is the TDA 2822M. When I first looked at the number, I went, hey, I've got some of these in my stock, except I've got the ones that are the full 16 pins. So supply voltage down to 1.8 volts. Low crossover distortion. This is going to be driving the speaker. So blob to this to speaker. And what else do they have to say about this one? There it is. Output, supply voltage, ground, inputs. Since there's only one speaker, they're obviously not using all of this, or they're not using it to its full capacity. You'll notice also obsolete product. Supply voltage, well, that's the maximum. They're nowhere near that. There we go. But yeah, this is the cut down one. It's not the full 16 pin version. So let's look at the next piece. And if you can see on the blob chip, it says blob. Okay, I wrote that on. And obviously the blob chip is doing all the sound generation, and then it's outputting it over to the amplifier that goes out to the speaker. And date codes on this is 2013 on the board, but that would just be the revision date. And on this one here, that could be the date code of 2014 and whatever week. So the rest of the components are basically capacitors. Oh, there's some transistors down here. They are... I'll put the sheet in. Okay, there's two transistors there. The one was J3Y, which is the complementary to the S8550. So this is the S8050. It's an NPN. You see these all over the place. The other one was ECM1, and I could not find it. So if you want to, you can go take a look at it for it. But that's the last two major components on here. And of course we have 0 ohm resistors, because of course this is a pick and place machine, and that's why they have it as a chip instead of just a little piece of wire reaching over. So that's about it for this. I really expected to see a blob, but I can put this back together and get it to work. Does this? Oh, and it's an 8 ohm 1 watt speaker, which ties into this fairly well. So they're not actually using all of this chip if they're only putting it out as mono. But hey, this one's not too bad. Have a good one. Bye.